Hello, everyone. Welcome to something I should have started a couple months ago, but here I am a little close to Halloween doing this now because I have the time to. Um, so, as you might have guessed, I have completed Walls of CCLP1, the set that JB Lewis has made, and I completed it a couple months ago. And I had stated I was going to do this big old review thing for this set because I was really, really inspired to, and I still am, obviously. And some things came up right after actually towards the end of the LP, like the last couple levels, I was actually feeling very depressed. I might have not made it known in the videos, I don't remember, but I was actually in a really depressed state, and my anxiety was really bad. I know I talked about that at least a couple of times throughout this LP. My anxiety was really bad, and the reason why I didn't do this review sooner is because I had stuff to take care of to control that anxiety. I didn't want the pressure of doing this review on my shoulders per se. It really wasn't like no one's really pressed like, oh, where's that review, blah blah blah. And just off and on leaving the Chips Challenge server and stuff like that. I mean, I honestly made that a bigger deal than it needed to be, and I'm back in it. And well, actually I think I was back in it when I ended the LP, but I did leave it again for about another week or two, and then I came back. And just activity there in general just hasn't been that well. Anywho, I just had stuff to deal with. I had to get myself taken care of. Part of it was I had very big debts I had to pay off, and I was focused on work and getting all these things taken care of. They're finally cleared as of a couple weeks ago, and I feel so much better. Like as just in general, my anxiety isn't as severe. My depression's for the most part gone. I mean, I think every one of us gets depressed at some point in our life, so you'd be lying if you said you never have. But anyway, here I am with this review thing, and we're gonna get this thing going, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. The other reason why I'll admit this is minor, but the other reason why I didn't really pursue with this immediately is because I couldn't think of a proper way to handle this. As you can see on your screen, there is the tile world window of the TWS file of what I used for the LP, and then I have not the editor, but I went on the editor to open up the walls of CCLP1, and I actually extracted image files of every level for the set. I tend to do this when I need to show off a level in a certain way because my computer screen's actually too small to capture everything in the editor, depending on the level size. So I'm using an image photo viewer through Windows for this screen. This is how I'm going to handle this. For the most part, I'm going to go off of the TWS. I'm going to let the TWS play back the solution I used, or I basically used, or came to, and I'm going to talk about the level itself on the editor screen, or we'll just call it the editor screen, I guess, and let this play out. So you can watch this, and while I talk about this, I think that's the best way I can do this. As I mentioned, this isn't going to be like I'm not going to give these number ratings. I'm not going to give these any ratings in general. I think that deserves to be classified for CCLP stuff. And while I highly doubt this won't be submitted for CCLP 5 or 6 or whatever is the next one, 0. I'm not in the loop of things anymore. But I'm just going to basically say oh, I liked it, or just give general feedback on every level. I don't tend to do that with other people's levels, and I've always wanted to. It's just a lot of the times I just don't know what to say. Or I just say the obvious, oh, this looks cool, blah blah blah. This is how I'm going to do it, though. I hope it's not too intolerable, and I realize this is kind of small for your viewing, If I need to get to like point out a very specific part of a level, I have a fit to fit to window type of deal, and it lets me drag the screen, or the image rather, of things. That way I actually get like a little close up of what I am talking about if I need to. So there's that. Other than that, let's get this thing started. I think these are going to be really long videos, as you could probably guess by the time length of this one. This is going to be quite a few hours I'm going to do this for. It's not all going to be in one sitting, because 149 of these levels in one sitting is a little obtuse to do, and it's currently almost 1:30 in the morning, and while I don't have work tomorrow, I don't want to stay up till 7 in the morning doing this, so these are going to be into parts. I'll just end when I feel like it. I don't have a level in particular to get to, or I want to get to, or I prefer them being split by evenly, like first 40 and then the next 40 and then so on and so forth. But I don't have a real goal with that, so we'll just see how it goes, and whatever you see or whatever I came to the conclusion to, well, you basically already see it. Anywho, Square One, the first level of the set. We'll play this back. I think my sound's on really high, actually. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, yeah, there we go. So, Square One. Let me get that back in Zoom. This was a very good first level, honestly. It was, it had this open structure. You can do basically any of these rooms in any order. I mean, I think your only options for the start was this room right here with the fireball, the room with the blob, and then the Sokoban. But it just opens up further as you go. So it's fairly non-linear in all actuality. I like that about it. The Sokoban here was really cool. A nice, very good introduction to the set in this regard, because one thing Walls of CCLP1 I think is known for, or I will say is known for, is a lot of good Sokobans in this set. And the first level having one, I think, is a really good touch. So it kind of does prepare you for what you can expect out of the set. You got a Sokoban right here. You got this monster manipulation puzzle down here, which wasn't that hard. You have some symmetry right here, which a lot of levels also had. Just in general, even some teleport stuff with this stuff up here. That was cool. And yeah, I really liked this level. It was really cool. It was really fun, and I noticed I'm being dumb and not catching the solution to this. I could just speed it up. If I get done talking about a level before this TWS plays back completely, I'll just speed up the solution a little bit, since I have that ability to. The part about showing these playbacks is because all these levels, at least 95% of the set was blind. So, and this was definitely one of the levels that was blind to me. So, I know I was talking or pointing out certain things in the level as I was playing it. This was at a time where I wasn't planning on doing this review, or not planning, but let alone what's it called? Not really thinking about it. And I like this ending too. It was pretty it looked symmetrical, but it actually wasn't. And oh yeah, the puzzle was at the end, right? So how was this done? I don't actually remember how this was handled. See, the good thing about doing this so long after I completed this set is because I don't remember a lot of what I actually played. So the very first level is definitely one of those levels, even though it's easy. Oh, that's right. You use that little loop right here. That's what you use. That's the key to this thing. And then I go in here and free these guys. I didn't have to do it one at a time, but I was being precautious. And then I went back and read the hint. Yeah, walls from Spoonomi. Alright, square one is done. That, I really like that level. If I did have to give this a rating for, say, CCLP5 or something, I'd probably give it, assuming it's on a 1 to 5 scale, in terms of fun or just in general, I'd give this a 3 or a 4. Yeah, somewhere around there. And it's just for fun, so it's nothing like permanent or nothing. Alright, Alien Frontiers. This has a fairly quicker playback solution. And this was a fairly simple collection level with a bunch of wacky, well, not wacky, but a bunch of really fascinating aesthetic use. Just like every tile was filled. Like there's not a single floor tile that I can see that starts as a floor tile. For a level that had a bunch of open space, I can't really see any other direction this level could have gone in terms of how it used the walls. I did kind of hope, and if I can be honest here, I am very mildly disappointed that it didn't actually use anything else that Elemental Park had, like the bombs or something like that, or some of the elements, like ice or fire or something. I am a little disappointed it didn't go that way, and it just stuck with primarily the walls. I do certainly respect it for that reason, but I respect the fact that it actually strictly use the walls. Like I do appreciate when levels actually do that. It doesn't like cop out of wall patterns or such. Like I have seen some newer designers have been doing with walls of sets or walls of levels in general. But that's a very minor thing. Like it's not a big deal. That's just personal preference, honestly. But not much else to really say about this. There was a little bit of collection with not just chips, but with yellow keys as well. And yeah, walls from Elemental Park. And then I did notice that there was quite a bit of what's it called? Of those concepts of avoiding monsters on top of things, like stuff I would design. I did notice quite a bit of that in this set as well, and I liked it. I liked it for that reason. Or I like levels that have that. So, otherwise, not much else to really say about this one. It was just a nice intro collection level to the set that just had a bunch of things. It was not bad at all. I really liked it. Yeah, let's just keep on going. Ooh, this level. Igloo Intersection. Okay. Well, okay, I guess I will do the rating thing, because I mean, why not? They're just for fun. And I'm going on a basis of if I want to see them in like CCLP5 or something. So, honestly, Alien Frontiers, I'd probably say maybe, honestly, probably I'd probably just give it a 1 or a 2. I'd give it a 2 out of generosity. Because I don't hate the level. It was just, I don't know. It was just, I understood why it existed in the terms of this set. But in terms of CCLP5, nah, not really. Alright, Igloo Intersection. Play this thing back and talk about this level. This was the walls of Peekaboo, I believe. And I loved the way it took the wall pattern and made it into a type of maze like this, with a little bit of dodging in between. Oh, this isn't fully. I should probably fix that in some way. I'll make mental note of that when I record the next segment of this. But this was honestly really cool. I like the way this used the layout. It was fun to play. There was a little bit of sense of getting lost, which was very well appreciated as well. And there was honestly a lot, maybe not a lot, but there were quite a few more layers to this than I was actually anticipating, and the teleports really add to that. I really liked about it. The dodging wasn't too hard. This bottom room with the one wall in the corner, I really wish the initial designer of Peekaboo, I think was Ida, I really wish she didn't put that there. It kind of does ruin the symmetry of every other room, and I know that can't be helped in terms of a walls of set unless you just played loose with them and just removed that one, which I am glad that wasn't done, but it gets off-putting, and that's not against JB in the slightest. But very fun little maze. One thing with these walls of sets is it's always nice. It's always really cool to see these confined wall templates, and they're used in such open ways, like this maze and how open it is. I don't think Peekaboo was very closed off per se. But I want to say it was definitely compact or confounded or whatever the word is. I even like the little bit of going through the walker room like that. Some people might not agree with that, but I don't mind that so much. And yeah, I love the fact that it took a confined level, that's the word, into an open maze level. Like, the things you can do with walls of sets is just so fascinating to me. And oh right, I was an idiot and actually went for the hint. I forgot about that. And links, this wouldn't be a problem because that hint is actually a safe tile, so yeah, the dodging's actually easy to get to that. In MS, this hint is very MS-ish. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I normally would have muted my microphone, but I don't have that off. Oh, actually I do, I just didn't do it. Yeah, Igloo Intersection, I would definitely give that a really high rating for like CCLP5. Like as an intro level, or not an intro, but like a one of those beginning mazes, like I don't know, kind of like Polygon. It's like a Polygon of CCLP5, I guess. And I know Polygon in CCLP4 was one of my top picks for the set. Looking back, I don't understand why it was, but I still like it. I'd give this a 4 if I was going. If it was for CCLP5, that's what I would give it. All right. Oh wow, that is an aesthetic in the as a full map. Wow, that is really nice. All right, Secret Jungle Laboratory. This was the walls of Traveler, from what I can see here, and what I can remember. And I was really taking my time with this room. It's kind of cool. I can kind of make fun of how I went about these levels as I'm watching them back. And I was being very overly cautious about things. I think with sets that you haven't played before, you're kind of prone to that, I guess. But yeah, one thing I like about this one, I like those force floor escalator type things. I like how it's centered in the level as well. And again, I know that was because that's how it was in the original template, but I do like that. And this level was actually kind of, honestly, a little weird. I don't know how to feel about this one. The teleports I like the use of the teleports here. This room right here with the ball cloners was honestly a little strange, but I liked it. What else is there? And then you can just do that. I remember this. This was really fun. Oh yeah, this part with getting the block through was I really liked this part. Like, it was confusing enough to not be trivial, and I adore that. And then this was I think this was just a simple bug guiding thing. It really wasn't much. There really wasn't much guiding. Actually, no. One bug automatically goes into the trap, and then the other one goes to the bomb. Yeah, it didn't matter which one went there. I like this part though. The whole structure of the level, and I think it just on virtue of it just falling victim to Traveler's walls, because Traveler was a really wacky level in my opinion. It's definitely one of the oddballs in CCLP1, in my opinion. But I do like the way it used them. Like, one thing I was kind of thinking to myself as I was playing these levels was, how would I have handled these templates? And a lot of them I honestly don't know how I would have handled them, because I did design some walls of CCLP1 levels myself when I tried to do the project myself, but I didn't use every single template. And what was that ending? Past me, why did you do that? I don't know. Yeah, other than that, it was a pretty nice level. I liked it. I can't say it's a favorite. I mean, there's a lot of levels I liked in this set, and I did like this one, but it's nothing that really stood out to me. So I'd probably give it like a 2, maybe a 1 if I was being mean. But I'm a generous person, so we'll just say a 2 out of 5. Okay, once bitten, twice shy. Oh, wow, that is an aesthetic. I love that aesthetic. That has a lot of pink. Ooh, boy. Yeah, I can see JB had fun with this one. So this level, just right off the bat, I knew it was inspired by a section I designed in Cold Hard Chip. I knew JB liked that section. And I love the fact he turned it into an entire level and made it or placed it in this confined space, not made like an entire level filled with it. Like, he enlarged it just enough, and I love the fact he did that. There's really not much I can say about this. Just the idea of just the way the bugs are placed, it affects what chips you can collect, and it was just a concept I just randomly thought of. I was like, oh, this is cool, So I made a little section out of it in Cold Hard Chip, which used the key issues walls. And I noticed the differentiating things with if you put a bug on top of a chip, you can step next to it, and thus you can collect more chips around it. But with bugs or on the dirt or the gravel, you couldn't do that. I just thought it was a nice idea, and I really am glad he designed this level. I definitely had a lot of fun with this. I think I'd honestly give this probably a 5 for CCLP 5. Oh, apparently I missed a chip somewhere. Oh, that one. How long did it take me to notice that? Not too long. Okay. Yeah, I would give this a 5 for CCLP 5. Why not? I mean, it's technically something new. If you really think about it, it is something new, and something no one's done before other than me, but I'm not pushing for Cold Hard Chip for CCLP 5. I might not even submit it, honestly. So this level, though, I would definitely shoot for. Okay, Next up is Crumbled Cavern, level 6. This was walls of the chambers, which had a very old-ish template to work with. So, something about this level that I liked was just how scattered everything was. It kind of felt like an advanced version of stuff that people, or at least I know of a couple people have made, where you just place random items everywhere and just random uses everywhere for them. And I love that bit. I like that bit with the tank. And the fact you don't collect the fire boots, like, that was nice too. I remember that. I fell victim to that. I remember that. But just the scattered, like, random placements of everything. But they all have a purpose. Well, most of them do. I just like the way that felt with this level. I think, like, this was a pretty good use of the chamber's walls, I want to say. What would I have done with them? I don't know. I think Indie and Chipster made a collab level that used these walls, and it was kind of like a linear variety level. Yeah, I love the fact that Paramuseum is just circling around. It serves no purpose. It's just there to be there. And in this, I had no choice with. Like, that random thin wall next to a clone machine, I think, honestly, one would think that'd be used for guiding the clone machine, or the cloner. And then that part reminded me of Get the Ball Rolling, which JB designed a long time ago, I think. And then the random bug circling that. And yeah, this blob. This space for the blob wasn't bad. It's just unfortunate if it gets in the way like that. And then some simple teeth dodging, which is always fun. Oh, okay, I remember the ending. So I remember the ending, you had to, I think you had to get the glider to hit this for you, so you can get a block out. No. You just had the glider, or no, you had the block hold this down. The glider didn't actually do anything. Right? Let's speed this up. Past me is being dumb again. Oh yeah, no, you don't get blocks through this. You did have to get the glider through it though. I think. Yeah, I like the level. I did like the level in general though. Nice use of everything, and just simple fun. It was a nice first decade level. I think, honestly, and maybe this is a stretch, but if it were me, I probably would have made this the first level, honestly. And the main reason why is because it does showcase basically everything in CC1. It has teleports, it has thieves, it has every monster. It has, it's got trap buttons, clone buttons, toggle buttons, everything, blue walls, invisible walls. It doesn't have appearing walls, I noticed. But it basically has everything in the game. And it's like the level's constructed in such a way where it could be a good beginner level. Like if say if I introduce like my youngest brother to CC, and I told him, oh, there's a set I played that would be not ideal for him, but you could start off with it. I would recommend this level, and as opposed to Square One per se. That's just me, but I did like the level. I think it was really fun. This could be a very interesting level 1 choice for CCLP5. Maybe that's a long shot. Maybe there's some other level in existence that's been crafted since CCLP4 submissions that I don't recall that would be a good level 1. But I think this would have worked. I think this would work pretty well. That's just my take. All right, I'd give that I think for that reason, I think I'd give it a high rating. But if it wasn't for that, it'd probably be lower otherwise. All right, all creatures great and small. So one thing I took notice to this level was, aside from using Flush's walls, it kind of started off very similarly to Slytherin Common Room, which also used this layout. But was just it was very heavily blob focused. This has every monster in it. It just starts off with walkers. I also know this was one of the last ones designed, and I don't remember why. Actually, I just now remembered. I mentioned I was going to go back to my playlist of this set's LP, and I was going to go over comments that JB has left on each of the videos. I should have prepared for this better. All right, well, I'll talk about the levels I've gotten through so far when this is done. But this level was actually pretty solid. I am surprised it took as long to get to this temple as it did, because I know this was one of the last ones, but maybe I just had an easier idea for Flush's walls. I don't know. But it had some pretty cool ideas. Like, I think trapping the bug was part of it. No, I think I tried doing that and it didn't work. Oh no, you had to stop. I think you had to stop the toggling, right? Isn't that what you had to do? Yeah. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the level now. Yeah, you had to stop this so you can get the red key, but then you had to restart it. That's what I liked about this. Yeah, that's what I really liked about this one. Yeah, and then you had to go back through the bug thing to restart that. That's a nice twist to this level. I really like that. I like the way that was played. Yeah, that was really fun. I do really like that part. Like that's like the most memorable part of this level to me. And I know I had to watch it to remember it, but watching it over again made me appreciate it even more. Okay, so before we go on, let me go ahead and read comments from JB himself of his designer notes, if you will. For Square One, he has stated, I originally intended for the level that's now at level 11 to be level 1, which we'll get to here soon. But that was a little too confined and didn't explore a lot of the game elements for a first level. Also, I didn't have many variety levels in the set at the 2/3 mark, so I thought it wouldn't hurt to make more. Some may say a bit too many. This level was definitely inspired by your own level 1 for Walls of CCLP3, mainly because of the layout. The last room might be a bit tricky, but I think it's still reasonable. The teleport section wasn't Woe Zone inspired, but I can see the similarities. Okay, so that was for Square One. Yeah, because I remember my first level of Walls of CCLP3 was also a square themed level, which used 4x4's walls called Keep Out of Reach of Children. And that was only titled as such because I anticipated Walls of CCLP3's difficulty to be higher than it actually is. And it's a topic I'll get into another day, but I thought I definitely overshot the set's difficulty. I thought it was harder. It's actually not as hard as... it's definitely not as hard as this set was. Level 2, Alien Frontiers. Elemental Park was certainly an interesting open-ended set of walls, or lack thereof. Ryan's template for CCLP1's walls kept the bombs, but I thought it'd be better to do less with the original layout and aim for something completely different, while still keeping the bottom section as its distinct layout. I wanted at least one super open item swapper in the first decade, so this felt like a natural fit. Okay, so that's why he didn't keep all the bombs. I remember I commented that in the past. Igloo Intersection. I actually had this idea pretty early on, but the level wasn't actually constructed until I got into the triple digits of designing, since I wasn't sure how appealing a simple ice maze would be. But the aesthetics helped seal the deal for me. The teleports weren't even originally there. Instead, additional gravel was used, but I thought they added a nice change of pace and an opportunity to use tanks, another blue monster. The trick with the horizontal pair wasn't even intentional until I playtested it, but it still looks cool even though that's weird. Even though one tile is different. I know one tile is different. Glad you liked it. Oh yeah, that was a blue themed level. I didn't even comment on that. My bad. Number 4, Secret Jungle Laboratory. This was one of the final levels constructed for the set. I wanted the zigzags in the layout to have some degree of congruency, and originally they were ice slides, but Shane's escalators, oh that's the level, were more visually appealing, so I went with those instead. The nail is mainly just a visual cue to stop the block on that spot. Okay, so not too much about that level. Once Bitten, Twice Shy, as I mentioned. This was totally inspired by the concept in Cold Hard Chip. Part of the challenge of designing this set was not using the small level solely for difficult challenges, and instead scaling concepts I liked up, or later in Terrahute's case, down. A bit of keeping them simple. I think this one worked out pretty okay. Originally, I planned on a level where you use the teeth to guide monsters around the map, but I saved the concept for Jet Black incursion later in the set. Okay. Yeah, see, he upscaled that concept, and I love the fact he did that. Number 6, Crumbled Cavern. I wasn't sure how this level would work out, and I'm still not sure what to think of it. Originally, I considered making this entirely a School of Thought-esque level called the Loaded Chambers, where the gliders from the original would also be kept in, but instead of keys and doors, there would be bombs in the doorways and blocks along the way. Of course, the problem was that this was somewhat unfair unless you specifically knew the layout and where to go first. Plus, it was scaled way too large for the concept compared to School of Thought. Also, I was aware of the block being retrievable in MS, but I thought it wouldn't hurt to leave that in, especially since you can't use it past the room with a fireball anyway. Overall, I wanted a few messy levels in the set, and layout for this fit the bill fairly well. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned anything about the level 1 thing back then. I still think it's cool. All creatures great and small. Here we go. Now we can finally catch up. Yes, this was one of the final levels I made. Part of it was wanting to be distinct from Slytherin Common Room, admittedly. I ended up going with the Maze Maker schmozzle start due to the room size. Then the rest was just a matter of fitting the other monsters in a cohesive way. I like the Xenocide style challenge as a connective tissue too. Okay, so that is all caught up, and this level predetermination. Oh, I'm actually playing the game. Whoops. There we go. Predetermination time is a joke level of chance time, and as JB's very, very, very minimal comment, I think the shortest comment of any level in this entire set. Yeah, this was pretty much a joke. Couldn't think of anything else to do with this layout. I don't blame him. I honestly would have done the same, or something very, very similar. I either would have done this or made it difficult. But I think making it difficult would have just been honestly a cop out, or a little too expected. And honestly, he did that with another level anyway later in the set, with Easier Than It Looks. So, but with this level, honestly, the only good thing I can say is I like the fact that it's kind of like a nostalgia thing for this set. If that can even be a thing, because it's the walls of CCLP1, and CCLP1 had Chance Time, which had all these rooms, but in that level you didn't go through every single one of them, or you weren't required to, and whereas this level you were. And I'm glad that JB himself can admit that this is a joke level, because it is. I mean, it is kind of a cop out, but honestly, this is one of the very, very few instances of that in the set. I know Walls of CCLP4 had a lot. I honestly would say a lot. As much as I liked that set, I did notice quite a few cop-outs with Walls of CCLP4. No offense to Jeffrey. Not to say Walls of CCLP3 didn't have any. I know that set had some for sure. But this set had very, very few. This was one of the very few that is a cop-out. And 1 or 2 is okay. Even 3, depending on the set, I think is okay. And honestly, CCLP1 has quite a variety of templates to use. Like, it's not just walls. And just the whole structure of this set in general, I know there was quite a few templates that were really hard to work with, and I have to give credit to how each of these was used. It was definitely no feasible task. Nothing simple in any way. So, for this level, it definitely gets a pass. Like, it makes fun of the original in a weird way, because honestly, Chance Time in CCLP1 was a little odd, in my opinion. I for a beginner standpoint, I see why, but just in terms of us veterans and whatnot, it's an oddball for sure. I liked it for that reason, but in terms of an official set, yeah, this doesn't stand a chance. Alright, Bumble Beginnings. I actually have to go to a different video to pull up the comment. Thankfully my phone's on mute, so you won't hear my own voice along with my own voice. I can actually talk about the comments on the levels throughout. Bumble Beginnings, JB says, this was made primarily to use the Mario Galaxy title, to do so for a level early in the set. I've got at least 2 other levels coming later that use the limiting cloning concept. So I thought it might be nice to introduce it in a much easier context. The bug cloners seemed to be a good fit as well, since, as you mentioned, they don't get a lot of love. There's actually a few different ways to arrange the different cloning segments to get to the hint, but I thought it'd be best to avoid making going that far actually required. Okay, so let's see what this level was about, because I don't remember. I know it involved bug cloners, and I do still like that. Bug cloning is just not a common thing. And I understand why it's not, because of the whole CB glitch stuff. But I kind of like the fact that they aren't that common, because it kind of inspires me to want to use them. And actually, since I played this level, in the new set I'm working on at the moment, which has 40 levels, by the way, so far, for CC1. There is a level, and it's actually I think I actually teased the level. I think I put it in JCCLP3, if I remember correctly, because I did release that set throughout this LP. There is a level in JCCLP3 and in that comes from my newest set that actually does have bug cloners. And I made it because this level reminded me how very minimal these are used. And I like the level for that reason. Now, I think there was a level in CC2LP1 voting that used this layout and also kind of utilized the toggle tank thing. Like, it kept those corridors as tank cloner corridors. And it was a cloning puzzle in its own way, but it wasn't bugs. I think it was fireballs. But it was more a key puzzle than anything else. I think I gave that one a high rating, because despite it being designed for CC1, it actually played very nicely, and I liked it. And I don't think I was able to get to the hint. I don't remember how to get to that. But as the comment mentioned, there is a way to get to it. And I basically solved the level, so let's just play it faster to get there quicker. I was probably rambling about how to get to the hint or something. This one, it depends on what comes of that level in CC2LP1 voting. Like, if that one gets into that set, this one I probably wouldn't really shoot for that much, but if this one don't, or if it don't, I'd go for this higher. It just depends. Time will tell what I'd give this for CCLP5. Alright, Tetramonotrove. So this level I loved, because it's a key themed level, and it was fun to play. You know how I like those key themed levels. I made an entire set just of key themed levels. You know, I kind of thought about doing that with every kind of design style, or every kind of design trope. Like, I thought about making a set with only mazes. Like, I would play it. I honestly would play it if someone compiled a set of all sorts of types of mazes that have been created throughout the years. Like, actual fun mazes, not just random guesswork crap. Like, actual fun mazes to play. Like, if someone compiled a set for me to play with that, I would totally LP it. Like, I wouldn't even care. I would do it just to do it. That's beginning the sides. That's going off track, though. This level, it was fun. I remember it. I think I cooked it the first time, which was surprising. I think even JB was surprised by this. Let's read what he said about it. Oh man, this level. I was surprised this one gave you some trouble. There are definitely a lot of extra keys, though, usually. In my playtest of it, there's usually one color that ends up being the scarce one, depending on how you unlock the doors. The big helpful thing to watch out for is whenever you run out of a key color, even temporarily, you can be more proactive in how you plan approaches to keys of that color. At first, the level was a little too lenient to the point where you had so many extras that the whole thing was trivial. So I added in green keys in some of the tetramos to make it a bit more interesting. Originally, I planned for this level to be a giant messy level, like Ultimate Chip 5's Data Corruption. But I badly needed more key levels, so I'm glad this one worked out. I had to remember what level that was from Ultimate Chip 5. I haven't played that set in years. The one thing about this level that really surprised me was the layout it uses. It uses Jeepers Creepers real blue walls. And just the layout in general. Actually, it keeps the real blue walls and replaces all the fake ones with all these key doors, with all these locks. I almost said key doors. That would have been stupid. But the cool thing was that the original layout, actually, with where the keys and chips are placed, they actually do resemble Tetris pieces, or Tetramos in a sense. And that was just by what was his name? Henry Potts did with Jeepers Creepers. I never noticed that when I played Jeepers Creepers, so it was kind of cool to realize that in this level. It's like, hey, I learned something about this set and the source material of it. I never would have. I honestly, if this set wasn't created, I never would have known that. I can say that with confidence. I never would have guessed that. I also really love the fact that the top section where the hint is only had green keys. I really liked that part. And I had I had a bunch of keys left over. I'm surprised however I cooked that, I must have just been well, you know the word. Anyway, Miniature Overture. So as we learned, this was supposed to be the first level, or the planned first level of the set. And JB mentioned, I thought about making this one level 1 when designing it, hence the title, a reference to the opening movement of some guy's music for the Nutcracker Ballad. Sorry, I'm not going to butcher that pronunciation. As a shout out to Jeffrey using an arch level as his level 1 in Walls of CCLP4, but I'm glad it got pushed back a bit. The teleport section is definitely my favorite. Well, let's see what that teleport section is. I think I can zoom in on this a little bit better. Yeah, it's a small level. So this used the Walls of Blockade, which is one of my... it wasn't one of my favorite Archie levels, looking back. I'm more or less happy with... I more or less like it just because it was the only bold confirm I have in Walls... in CCLP1. Only bold confirm I have. Not that that matters anymore, but at the time I was proud of it. But, yeah, this level was pretty interesting. I think it was, it's kind of cool how it works out. Like, I like the way it uses the space for sure. And honestly, I can say that about practically every level in this set, honestly. So it might be a repeating statement, but it's not like it's false. It's far from. And there was a little bit of a forethought with this level as well. Like, I think you'd leave the suction boots behind and only collect the skates. Or no, you had to get both of them. Well, yeah, duh. The hint kind of threw me off a little bit. I was definitely a little confused. By that. In this teleport section, I'm curious. I don't remember this section. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I think I remember it now. Yeah, the goal was to push the block through that, and then go down. Yeah, you had to go back to close this toggle door and then go down and teleport. Yeah, that was legit. I liked that part. That was a cool way to end the level. Yeah, I would give this a pretty high rating for CCLP5. I'm not gonna. I'll say numbers when I feel confident with them, but if I don't, I'm just gonna say a high rating or a low rating. Like, you can kind of use your best judgment where I would go with that. Okay. Aeronautical engineering. Oh, this one has quite a comment. This is probably my least favorite level in this part of the set. Nothing particularly bad, but it's just kind of there. I really wanted to use that death and destruction concept in some way, so it was mainly an excuse for that, and to make a rocket shape out of the layout. I guess it was also inspired by the Cyclone Challenge on the new athletic competition show, the Titan Games, where contestants have to apply tension to a rope to make a giant wrecking ball thing gain speed and distance to go in a circle to knock 5 pillars down, which is sort of what you're doing by wrangling the teeth. The hint text is sort of a shout out to Jimmy Ramirez's first level Rocket, which had a similar hint. I think I'll remove the toggle wall in front of the glider cloner so it actually clones consistently. Oh right, the what's it called? The glider cloner, right. Alright, let's play this back and so I can watch this again. What was this about? Death and Destruction. Oh, this teeth thing. Now, was it changed? I don't actually remember if that cloner or the toggle button placement was changed or not. I don't remember. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that was kind of cool how that worked. Oh yeah, this was the walls from Blobs on a Plane. It turned it into like a space themed level. I love this aesthetic with the checkerboard socket and yellow locks. There is one complaint I had, or I kind of have with CC2 LP1 voting. There's quite a few levels with these checkerboard aesthetic layouts, and I think just it's kind of made me hate that aesthetic honestly now, and it's mostly just because of how overused it's been. I've seen it be used in those CC2 levels that I've seen in voting. So it's kind of making me less enthused to use that aesthetic myself anymore. And I have no idea what I'm even trying to do. What am I doing here? Yeah, what am I doing here? I hope this is this a valid replay? No, it's not. That is not a valid solution file. Huh, what was changed? I actually don't remember what was changed. Huh. I don't remember. I don't know. He said something about the toggle door being removed. But would that really affect my play solution? Well, apparently it did. Well, I don't know if I'm not inspired to really replay it right this minute, but we'll just focus on the level map for now. But yeah, this level was cool. I can kind of see where it was going. I do remember I failed at this section with the pop-up walls. I remember the ending was significantly easier. It was just a cool level. It's not one of my favorites either. I still liked it though, but I wouldn't give it that high of a rating for CCLP5. So yeah, now I'm curious to know how many more broken files or broken solution files I have in this set. That one surprises me. Ooh, this level, quantified nerves. I loved this level. I absolutely loved this level. This one uses the walls of communism, which I can safely say this wall layout is very, very tricky to use. I can say that because I used this myself in a new level I made, which I think is also in JCCLP3. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Let's play this thing back, and let's praise the heck out of this level. It was just so cool. JB's comment says, I'm kind of proud of this level. I wasn't sure what to do with communism's walls until the final 10 levels for the set were constructed. But I hadn't seen this idea of using stuck monsters on force floors as barriers, whether they're barriers for Chip or for other monsters. The balls and toggle walls at the bottom were one of the first things I made, a shameless compressed ripoff of the similar section in Walls of CCLP3 Sandstorm Shelter. Now, Jeffrey, if you're watching this, I want you to hurry up and get to that level in your LP of that, because that is one of my proudest levels in that set. Then the beginning was more or less meant to be a demonstration of the idea that the stuck monsters can trap you, with the blue key serving as a cue to try grabbing it before it gets erased in links. I was worried that the slide delay from the monsters would make the ending a bit more unfair in MS, so I made the force words one long slide to demonstrate that it existed and that caution needed to be applied to the nailing at the end, which I'm glad you caught. Overall, I quite like the way this one turned out. Yeah, this one is definitely very interesting, and I definitely remember this thing I did in Sandstorm Shelter. Honestly, I think that was one of the first things I made in that level too. I can't say that with confidence, but I want to say that's what I did. I mean, this space in general is very tricky to use. I use that for a fireball thing, and what will I name it? Air letter shop. I think that's an anagram from a CCLP2 level. I don't remember. Yeah, the ending was really cool. This whole level was just fun. It was just absolutely fun to play. And then yeah, this is the long slide he mentioned about demonstrating that there's slide delay. I kind of wish that this stretch up here. I kind of wish this was all south thin walls. That's just designer preference, but it just looks so odd how it just ends right here. It is 125% designer preference. But I do wish that was all consistent with the thin walls. It's very, very minor. It could be considered nitpicking. Okay, what was I trying to do here? Oh yeah, you had to unlock that to form a nail. Because you had to do that. Yeah, that ending could be considered mean, but honestly, you could easily fix that. Actually, no, you can't, because I was gonna say you can just put a thief right here, but you would just ram it, or you would just ram the block on the force floor, and you would still cook the level. Yeah, not much that can be done about that. But yeah, quantified nerves. I would definitely give this a solid 5 for CCLP5 voting. It was just so unique and cool. I really liked it. Like every little bit about it. I will admit I didn't really watch the solution myself back that much because I was just so focused on the comment that JB left about this one and the level map itself. Like the confined hallways that communism had they're very tricky to use for a walls of set because there is only so much you can do with them. And since communism was made, and I think Jeffrey made a level called Despotism that used these walls, and then this level existed, and then I make a level out of these walls that's completely different somehow. It's very hard. It was very hard to be distinct with those 3 levels. But I think I managed, though. I did like this beginning part. Having to go up through the teleport to get this. That was definitely a very nice trick. A nice way to introduce you to the whole level. Alright, crosswalk crossing. So I think this uses the layout, or yeah, this roughly uses the kind of uses the walls of what was it? Highways. I honestly don't have much to say about this one. It was just, to me, honestly, this is just, I understand why it was made. You had to use highways layout somehow. But it's not something that is like super appealing to me. Okay, let's see what JB read or wrote. I agree with you that toggle wall levels are cool but have kind of been overdone in some ways. But toggle walls, appearing walls, it seemed to be a good fit for highways, so I just kind of ran with it. At first, I thought about turning the appearing walls into something like blob cloners, but that made the maze more fun. I ended up using blob cloners toggle walls as an aesthetic choice and spaced out the penultimate level design for the set. Alright, so not a lot said about the actual level, just little, I guess, more a response to something I said. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a good combination of toggle walls and appearing walls. Like, something I like about in levels is like combining 2 tiles that you don't normally see together. One example that I can think of off the top of my head is water and invisible walls. Like, so there's something about that combination that just appeals to me. Or dirt or fire and blue walls, which, yes, I have been notoriously known and been called out for numerous times for blue forest fire. I still like that level, guys, but I definitely see why people don't like it. But I'm not saying I'm proud of it. I still like it. But anyway, yeah, I definitely do appreciate the combination of the layout for sure. But as a level, it's just kind of there for me. So I'm just gonna zoom in on the rest of this, or fast forward this, I guess. And then you do have the one time you press the toggle button and you gather the rest of these. I would be curious to see if you can. There's some chips you can leave behind. I can almost say with certainty that is the case. I just don't know what chips. Yeah, this is a fun little level. Nice little maze layout. Like, the final maze layout is honestly really nice looking. So, alright, moving on. Balls to the wall. And I have to go to a new video for this comment, for this set of comments. I realize I don't have to read off these comments. Like, you guys can just go to the videos of my LP and read them if you want to, but I guess this is kind of like enforcing you to hear them unless you just mute me, which, go ahead and do so. I'm not talking important stuff. Nah, just kidding. Alright, balls to the wall. Yeah, the original level involved filling up the slide up to the point where there was only one possible opening to get through, which, looking back on it now, was really harsh. Even the timing in the toned-down version can be a bit tricky, but I think it's still manageable. The only reason the ice bits are there is to offset the balls in case they can't get on the slide, which is what happened with the left one at the top here. Overall, not what I'd call a great level, but I think it's a fun use of the layout. The teleport room was inspired by chipped cavern and walls of CCLP4. Okay. So yeah, this was kind of like a, okay, I remember this now. This was walls of squared in a circle. I think that was my highest rated level in CCLP1 voting. It was like 41th or 41st ranked. Oh, I see what the ice is for now. Because I think it affects the slide delay a little bit. Yeah, that one was stuck for a while. Okay, I remember now. Yeah, the rest of this level was like that was the general idea, was to free the balls and collect all these things and go through the corner rooms I made. Oh yeah, this is definitely Chip Cavern inspired. Yeah, I want to say I think this was a It's not mentioned in the comment, but it kind of feels like it's a nod to Morton Antivirus that I made, which had this force floor ring that you had to lead teeth monsters to, or you didn't have to, but it was highly recommended because of how hard the level was without them. Yeah, and then just the fact you go back and forth in between them is pretty cool to get red keys and stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely glad the level was changed to not have that whole thing filled up with pink balls. That was a little harsh. Yeah, even that, it can get pretty hairy. Yeah, I like the general item swapping feel of this. It was fun. And arbitrary reading the hint, just for fun. I like the fact that the set kept the hints of what the walls were. I think that they're fun to have in walls of levels. Alright. Let's see what we got next. Urban ecology. Blah. This one is the ancient temple. So we have a late template being used for an early level, which I always like seeing that. I think this is one of the few cases where that was done. The other being predetermination time and flush, or all creatures great and small, or something. Yeah, this was cool. Yeah, this was pretty cool. I like how it kept the same chip placement from the original level as well. And yeah, this was something you had to save for the end. Oh, you're not going in there. I took a lot of time on, like, one thing I'm understanding better. I really took my time on a lot of these levels when I really didn't need to. Okay, this cloning room was really fun. I need to make more of these types of cloning rooms. Like, they're not done often, right? Like, they're not done like just for fun. Like, a lot of them are done just to be puzzles. And the cloners mazes are fun, but I think they're really outclassed these days. I haven't seen a good cloners maze level in a long time, honestly. I don't think there's anything we can do here, dude. What are you doing? Past me, you're being silly. Oh yeah, press the toggle button. I think I was trying to get to the hint, honestly. Yeah, I was trying to get to the hint. Let's just skip that. Let's see. Oh yeah, this part, you had to get the fireball to hit that toggle button. Yeah, that was a cool little twist to that level, to this one. I like that part. Except, like, a lot of these levels had these moments where you would do something you wouldn't expect you'd have to do. It looks like, oh, that fireball's just circling the thing, and it doesn't matter. Well, it actually does. It's just things like that. I remember this room is symmetrical. And this thing can toggle them freely. Yeah, one thing I always complained about in this LP was having these obnoxiously long videos, yet here I am deliberately recording one. Definitely a very different change of pace. I also like that you exit that symmetrical room in a non-symmetrical way. I mean, I guess it's kind of obvious, but I usually don't really care for things like that with symmetricalness, but I've been warming up to them. And this ball thing, I'm a little mixed on it. You can do it first, and that's cool and all, but I don't know. I didn't really like the fact that you can pretty easily mistime that stuff. Oh. Okay, here's another invalid solution. Alright. Yeah, what was changed in that? Wait, did I even read the comment on this? No, I didn't read the comment on it. Let's see. Maybe we can find some answers to what was changed here. Ever since I started development on the set, I had this idea of making the ancient temple into a forever belt, never-ending slide type of early item swapper level. The problem was, I wasn't sure what to do with the little alcoves along the track, so I eventually just settled on filling them up with blocks and hiding the hint in one of them. The original layout was ultra linear, and after releasing it, I decided to ease up on that a bit, aside from the fireball toggling portion. Unfortunately, I totally forgot to remove the blue key. I'll have to correct that for the 1.0.0 release. Good catch. Oh. Well, that didn't affect anything. I think it was just a blue key that had no purpose. I have no idea what was changed. I wonder if it has to do with the ball timing. Because everything up to that point played out just fine. But why wouldn't that, how come that wouldn't have worked though? I don't get that. Huh. Well, anyway, you kind of understood though. You kind of understood it. Let's get on to the next one, which was another level that started on an exit tile. And I think there was a level like 2 levels after this that also had that. So there was quite a few of that back to back. This is Monster Recreation Center. Oh, I'm actually playing the level. Whoops. This is Mystery Walls. So this was more or less just like fancier dodging. I think it just mixed in force floors and other interactions, like more than one monster at a time. Yeah, it was mostly just advanced monster dodging, which is a nice take on this layout. No mysteries here. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I didn't really have much to say about it, honestly. This was one of the earliest levels made for Walls of CCLP1, totally not at all inspired by Hireling Hideout and Via Perifico from Walls of CCLP4. I have to admit, the tank teeth section can be a bit nerve-wracking, and I'm still a bit nervous about including it. But considering some of the levels involving teeth later on, I think it's an okay introduction to the idea of dodging a teeth while other monsters are involved. Plus, it gives the bigger room more of an identity, I suppose. Okay. How long have I been going for? A little over an hour. About an hour and a half. I'll tell you what. We're going to get to level 20. I'm honestly getting a little tired, and I have a level in mind to make, and I don't want the idea to go away. So, yeah, I want to try to get to that. At least a start to that tonight. So let's move on to Scrap Heap Scraper, blah. Alright. So this level is... Just look at this map. Holy crap. That is a lot of stuff. But this is the gimmick to it. This is arguably the level in this decade that I'm most proud of. I wanted to make at least one messy level out of rocks walls, and this seemed to be a good fit with its asymmetrical layout and strange stray of walls in the middle of the central room. At the same time, I also wanted to craft a puzzle that involved pushing blocks around to make way for another block. I guess this has been done before. Wasted space certainly comes to mind, but I hadn't yet seen it in a way that positioned a bunch of immovable blocks or blocks you trap into the mix. I thought about making it required to get the skates and push the two ice blocks only after getting the red key, but I think it worked out better to have the level be a bit more open-ended as far as the order goes, other than the blue button. I'm glad you enjoyed this one. Alright, let's see if this actually plays. I do remember that I initially thought this was an inspiration to or inspired by Aesthetic Junkyard, which was a level I made in Josh L6. Which I will, at some point in the future, probably soon, I don't know yet, but at some point I will do a look back at that set, because I've been wanting to do something like that for another set of mine a little bit more recent than Josh L2. And Josh L6 makes the most sense since no one's LP'd that, so... Anyway, yeah, this level is definitely made to look like a mess. And how was this doable? I don't actually remember how this was done. Let's see. A teleport. Oh. Where does that lead? Oh, that leads to there. Wow, that actually played out a lot better than I remembered it. Yeah, wow, that played out a lot better than I remembered it. Okay. Yeah, I definitely thought that was aesthetic junkyard inspired, but it it apparently wasn't. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But I don't know. Like, look at the aesthetics on the outside, though. Like, it makes it seem like the level is so much bigger, but it actually isn't. And that's something I've been taking a really massive liking to. Even though I don't really do it that much, and part of the reason is because when I made walls of CCLP3, I didn't really have a lot of small levels to work with because CCLP3 is, well, CCLP3. A lot of the small levels I utilized very quick and didn't give them much aesthetic identity because I kind of had the mindset of, well, just emptiness on the outside is okay. Like, that was something I kind of took as a criticism from I think Josh L6, honestly, because that was very aesthetic heavy. And I remember someone said that no aesthetic is just as good as an aesthetic in some cases. But this whole thing with making the level look bigger than it actually is so cool, and I love the way it looks as a full image. It's just so satisfying to see, and the level itself was very fun. I would definitely give this a high rating, either a 4 or a 5 for CCLP5 for sure. Okay, Madan. Now this level I commented a lot about because okay, actually I think I know for certain this actually is not a valid solution because I do remember there was a problem with this, or not a problem, but there was a bust here. This level was designed last for the set because it uses walls with frozen in time, which was a very weird layout to work with apparently. And I can definitely see how it's weird. It has a bunch of openness and confinedness and openness and confinedness. It's traditional Tom Patton styled level. I'm curious. Does this actually play out? I need to see. Let's just skip to the end. Yeah, it doesn't. What happened was this thief tile right here used to not be there, I believe. Because let's actually play it back. A little bit less than that. Okay, it was like around here. Yes, yeah, I have the flippers in this maze. And this thief used to not be there. And because of that, I kept the flippers, which made the block pushing right here unnecessary. And I didn't do that in this solution because I had the flippers, so... yeah. This level was pretty fun. Excusing the fact that it's a Walls of level, it played out nicely for its theming with blue and everything. There are a lot of blue-themed levels out there, and that's just on virtue of their blue being the most primary tile color in the game, along with green and maybe red after that. But I still enjoyed the level. I do think it kind of fell victim to being linear, and maybe that's the blame on the level structure. It more than likely is. But I liked every bit of it. It was nice variety, linear variety, with monster dodging and ice maze. I think the ice maze was a little too big for my liking. Maybe, I don't know, I noticed I got stuck in there quite a bit. I definitely fell victim to it in terms of the time limit. As you can see in my time solve, I don't think a lot of it was in the teleport room. But yeah, had this been non-linear in some way, I probably would have liked it. I don't know what I would have done to make it that way. But, yeah, honestly, I think that was I think this was a hint before. That hint was not always there, was it? I think it used to be right there. Wow, the set has changed a lot since I played it. I didn't think it changed that much. Dang. Yeah, I liked the level for what it was worth, though. It was still fun. I certainly don't know what I would have done with this layout, so... yeah, it was nice fun. Let's read the comments because there's really nothing else I can say. I can't play that. I can't properly play the solution. Oof, this one is rough. That block room is totally a bust, so I'll definitely need to fix that, which he did. I might reposition. Oh, yep, he did reposition the hint as well. I might reposition the hint as well, and I'm already planning on removing the ice spaces on the edges of the final room, so the walker doesn't create any slide delay with the other walker. Working with this wall pattern was not easy. I was originally planning to make a Drops of Jupiter-esque trap button themed level, but I figured the set had enough confined puzzles already, and I wasn't in the mood to create something intricate and deep by the time I got to the final layout to use. So since this decade already had some puzzles, I figured a simple collection level with a cooler color palette wouldn't hurt. I'm not particularly fond of this one, but I guess it's alright. The title Medan is a location in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic that's a pretty expansive water world. You can explore a city on the water, then go underwater where a giant shark is causing people to go insane. I thought the layers of sky, city, and underwater blue walls could be interesting for this layout. Oh, okay. I hearted the comment, so I did read it, but I don't actually remember that part. Yeah, Drops of Jupiter-esque. That might have been interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I liked this level for what it was worth. I definitely did like it. Level 20. Yep, there we are. And I do have to go to a new video for this. I only played a couple in that. Oh, this is the video where I was initially on Sand Through the Hourglass back when it was level 24. But thankfully that got changed. Go to the comments. Oh, 2 people left a comment on this one. Alright. Etiquette and Espionage. This was a thief-themed level. And let's go ahead and read what the comment says. I think this comment will say more than what I could say about it, at least for now. I wasn't expecting this one to be so enjoyable, especially since it was made toward the end, but I guess I always feel a little awkward when lifting concepts from other levels. In this case, Thief and Teeth, though without the traps, bodyguards, and airport security. But I wanted a thief-themed level in the set, and the open space and Sky High or Deep Down felt like it was a nice blank slate to work with. I originally considered making a pipeline level akin to David P2's Pipe Dream, but the work in progress level I had got scrapped eventually. Okay, yeah, so this first room is Thief and Teeth inspired, which is a Walls of CCLP3 level. This next one was Bodyguards inspired. I think this was actually easier than... This room was actually really easy, I remember. It was that airport security room that took me forever to figure out. I'm going to actually lower the volume a little bit. I'm going to hear that noise a lot. But yeah, thief-themed levels are... I feel like they're not as common anymore. I feel like the best thief-themed levels got into CCLPs already. Like Thief, You've Taken All That Was Me is definitely one of them. Bodyguards, I think CCLP4 could have been left without bodyguards, honestly, looking back. Yeah, I definitely think it could have gone without bodyguards looking back now. But for what it did, it was cool. I think it would have been better for CCLP1 itself had it been actually designed at the time. Okay, this room was the airport security room. I do think it utilized the open space of Sky High or Deep Down really well. I remember this puzzle was actually really solid. It took me quite a while to figure it out or unravel it, but I'll play it back, why not? But yeah, overall, it was a really fun level. Not necessarily my favorite level of this type, but I can't think of a better one off the top of my head. I think I'd design a couple thief-themed levels, especially ones that require moving blocks out of the way. But what? That wasn't valid either? How is that? How is that not valid? Are you serious? Okay, I have no idea. I really don't know how how that's not a valid solution. All right, well that's apparently not a valid solution. I have no clue why. I don't know what was changed, but that's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping that puzzle would play out again because I wanted to remember how it was solved. Huh. Well, I'm kind of glad I haven't submitted times for this set yet on Pie Guy site, because a lot of these would be invalid apparently. But yeah, I think this level was a lot of fun though, regardless of whether the solution's valid or not. I think it was fun regardless. All right, guys. So I know it's only been an hour and a little over an hour and a half now, but honestly, because I haven't recorded in a long time, especially not for a long period of time, my jaw's hurting from talking as much as I am, and I don't feel like I'm talking that much, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, my jaw's hurting, and I'm losing focus. I have this idea in my head to design, and I want to try to get something started with that tonight because I know I'll lose it. And I really want to do that. It's probably selfish, but I really want to do that. I just hope the level actually pans out, because if it don't, then I kind of feel like this was a wasted effort. But it doesn't give you an excessively long video to watch. 20 levels are reviewed in a weird way, if you want to call this a review, but it's more or less like a look back type of thing in its own way, and just kind of giving more thorough thoughts with everything. It's hard to think on the spot, I will admit, but I'm doing the best I can. I hope this is enjoyable nevertheless, though. And for the next section, I guess since I'll be doing these in 20 level segments, I guess we'll just do the next 20 levels and just keep going from there. I would have liked to get up to like 30 levels though, but I don't want to give you guys an excessive video to watch. I mean, JB's videos are already long enough, and mine don't need to be this long. But this isn't something I want to be a prolonged thing. I don't want this to be more than, say, 10 parts or so. Which 20 levels apiece would be just shy of that. It'd be about 7 or 8 parts, depending on your point of view. But we will review the next 20 or so in the next video of this, and I hope you enjoyed what I have talked about and the fact I'm doing this again and whatnot, and just give any general feedback I can do. Like, do I need to rehearse or not rehearse? Do I need to go over JB's comments on these? I probably don't, and that might be something I might not actually do that and from here on. I think you guys can just go do that yourself if you really want to. I think they're interesting, but just let me know what you want me to do. If any way I can improve these and make them whether more enjoyable or just in general more interesting, definitely let me know. But until then, we'll see you next time to review or talk about Flowers of Power and the rest of the set in due time. It won't be 2 months, but it will be in a couple of days. So we'll see you guys then.